Hey, July the 11th through to August the 4th, Venus is going to move through the sign of Leo, the sign of celebrities and leaders. She is the energy of the feminine. We'll talk about what that might mean for the world. I love what she's doing in Leo. I cannot stress it enough because she will form a sextile to Jupiter in a way we haven't seen in 14 years. That is luck upon luck, flow upon flow, ease upon ease in each of our lives as she creates this flow to the energy of Jupiter, the greater benefic, expansion, growth, prosperity, luck, and opportunity on July the 22nd. But also she's going to form a trine to the asteroid of strategy, wisdom, and knowledge, Athena, and it's going to activate the exact place in the sky where she sat last August in the heart of the sun, resetting all of us in the Leo part of our sky for the next 4 years. So you may connect to events that happened last summer as she moves into that part of the sky with Athena. We're going to break it down. Shall we get started? First of all, if you're new to my channel, welcome. This is an all sign video. All of my videos are going to cover your sign. And so if you want to listen today, you want to listen for your rising sign, as if it's the character in the video game or the role you're playing as an actor. Listen for your sun sign if it's about purpose and career, and think of it as the one who is the actual game player or the actor who plays the character. The soul is your deepest essence and your core essential self, but it also just often outpictures as career and reputation and purpose matters. And finally, your moon, it's like it's your body, it's your how you feel about life, and it also represents home and home safety nest matters. So often transits to the moon can actually indicate changes regarding our home life. So also, if you're new to my channel, don't forget I am Lori Luthian, Western Tropical Zodiac Astrologer. Use the whole sign house system, fixed stars, and minor asteroids. And I put 20 videos at least a month out. If you like regular updates, the weekly astrology, the monthly astrology, all for your sign, you definitely want to check me out and hit that subscribe button and give me a try. In the month of June, there were a lot of scrubbing of bots by YouTube on several channels. While they may have scrubbed out a couple of thousand bots, I'm hearing from a lot of you, you are also unsubscribed, including long-term subscribers. Please go back and check to see if YouTube did indeed unsubscribe you last month, and would you mind resubscribing? All right, now let's get talking about the sky. Oh, I forgot to tell you, did you know that my 2023 all sign videos is out as a sale right now? You can get them instead of for $77 summer sale for the month of July for only $33. 90-minute videos times 12, one for each sign. Share with friends and family. It's in the description box below. That's that more button that you guys push. Or buy for $14, just one sign, all about Aries, all about Taurus, 24 90-minute videos. So check that out. When I say description box, as some people call it the down box, there's so much about me, my website, get on a readings wait list. That's all under the more button that's under every video on YouTube. So check that out as well. All right, so let's get rolling. July the 11th is when Venus begins to slide into the sign of Leo, and buckle up because that is going to be intense. I'm trying to not get anyone anxious about it, but Pluto is sitting in Aquarius and Leo is the opposite sign. So Venus is having a power struggle with Pluto. Negative Pluto archetypes with Venus: toxic love, fatal attraction, betrayal in love, money, power, struggle stories, dastardly deeds and love stories, the darker side of love, but transformation, metamorphosis through power and love and money narratives, whatever is going on this turning point energy on July the 11th, 12th, and 13th in your life. It will pass quickly, but understand this. Pluto will be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. And once a year, Venus will cross paths opposing Pluto. It's a new energy in the world. We haven't seen this since the time of the French and American revolutions. It's a new energy in your life as well. So get ready to get used to it. It's not just, oh no, this is coming and it'll never be back. No. And it's also part of a greater synodic cycle from the Venus-Pluto conjunctions. I'll be writing my Deep Code Astrology book. You'll be getting that maybe a year and a half, and I'll be explaining how to understand everything in the sky through the regular rhythm of reset buttons. So It is going to feel, however, perhaps for many of us, like we're coming into some kind of critical crisis, tension, power struggle, revelation. Pluto is what's hidden below the surface. So therefore, the 11th to the 13th, things may be dug up from under the surface. Venus is in Leo. For the world, that can be stories that have to do with females, female in power, celebrity women, celebrity women. Last summer, Venus was in Leo for 4 months, June, July, August, September, into early October because of a retrogradation. And we saw a lot of stories about famous couples breaking up, I think including my prime minister and his wife in Canada. So there was a lot of celebrity couple breakup stories going on at the time. We could see more of that. Maybe Melania Trump will say, I'm no longer going to hang with Donald because because Venus is happening to go through Leo, which is his first ascendant sign in his chart. And the opposite sign is the sign of the wife. So we could see couple breakups with powerful or celebrity couples, or just intense revelations of scandalous love, betrayal, sex, forbidden love, toxic love stories, right? Coming out, like the dark side of love trauma stories, right? Sex trauma stories, maybe hitting the news cycle, especially the news cycle because Mercury is in Leo at the time. Now, I'm going to talk to you first, and I'm going to show you the sky, especially as we go to all signs, right? So just listen in for a bit about the vibe. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Watch for those kinds of things hitting the news cycle, especially because Mercury is in Leo. He's a newscaster. Venus will join him. And because Leo is Donald Trump's ascendant, then Donald Trump's stories may hit the airwaves in a big way. Okay. And I'm nonpartisan. I live in Canada. I do not care for Biden nor Trump. So just keep that in mind as I talk about world politics. When I do that, it's mundane astrology in a US election year. And 50% of my viewers here, according to my back-end metrics, are from the United States, and 80% of you are women. So that's why, if you ask me from another country why I focus on US politics a lot, that's basically why. But I try to cover world events and other politics too, but I'm not a news channel, right? So bear with me. Moving forward, Venus will come into contact. It's called a conjunction on July 23rd, the day after. Oh, I'm sorry, back it up. The happiest thing I love about this Venus transit that we haven't seen in 12 years is that Venus sextiles Jupiter on July the 22nd, the Feast of the Magdalene, big celebration day. It's kind of cool, right? In fact, it was July 22nd last year on the Feast of the Magdalene that I think Venus stationed retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. So she keeps loving up this vibe of the 22nd degree of Leo. And Venus is about love and beauty and peace and prosperity. Jupiter is about truth and wisdom and knowledge, as well as expansion, growth, luck, and opportunity. You can't argue when the two of them decide to cooperate in a flowing energy called a sextile. So when it comes to matters of war, obviously, we may see some resolutions, especially because Jupiter is in the sign of tropical Gemini, Western tropical Gemini. That is the sign of the brothers and the neighbors and Castor, the immortal twins, and also many other meanings. But one of the things that makes me think about, honestly, is peace, right? Because the warring brothers or the warring neighbors in the Ukraine and Russia and or Middle East debacle are people who live next to each other and or neighbors and brothers. So bottom line is we're going to see likely a beginning of some real positive peace developments, I would hope, around July the 22nd. And we can only cross our fingers. In the Israel chart, for example, in Netanyahu's chart, for example, Venus is going through Leo, which is his 9th house, which personally for him can be matters to do with legal matters in course, but also with world countries and world, justice coming in from the world, whatever that might mean. So we'll just see what happens. Righty. Now, that is really nice, right? We don't mind. Everyone put on your calendar lucky opportunities in money and love breaking through on July the 22nd. In your own chart, of course, it's all about Leo, where Venus is traveling, relative to Gemini, where Jupiter is traveling. And that 2 houses away is what is lit up. So I'll dive into that for the all signs part of this reading, so you can understand better where that luck, prosperity, goodness, expansion, growth, wisdom, and truth is coming from. But then on the day after that, Venus conjuncts the Vestal flame, which is traveling through the sign Vesta asteroid is traveling through the sign of Leo. That's where we have like a Bic lighter. It's also sacred duty. It's also kind of a perseverance from a place of a calling or a sense of something that you must attend to from a deeper soulful level, right? The Vestal Virgins in Rome tended a flame so that Rome would keep the peace, the Pax Romana. And it was a calling, and the Vestal Virgins retired out. I think it's 36 years old. They started at 6 to 36 years old, like the convents, nuns, that kind of thing. And then they were given all kinds of rewards for their sacred service. And they were given like land to hold in deed, which women couldn't do. They could walk the streets of Rome alone, which women could never do without an escort. They were given power and wealth beyond measure for women at the time. Why I like that is power and wealth and privilege and esteem beyond the normative levels of our society at this time, particularly in the United States, one of the few nations in the world who's never had a female leader. And think about that, right? We've had Thatcher and Angela Merkel, and now we've got a female leader in Mexico. And I've been predicting the rise of female leaders anyway from my Aries Ingress chart back in March, and that's because of what I saw there. So in my view, Venus sextiles Jupiter on the Feast of the Magdalene, July 22nd, then slips into the arms of the Vestal flame, the reward energy for the sacred calling. I would say that there's going to be an elevation of a female at that point. Some woman, could be a celebrity, could be a politician, could be a world leader, will be lit up in the sky for the world to see at that time. This is happening at 12 degrees of Leo. When we break down the all signs, I'll ask you, do you have any planets at 12 degrees of Leo? Sun, moon, or rising, especially, this is going to be lovely for you, okay? 12, 13 degrees of Leo, highly activated by this July 22nd, 23rd love up, especially for women in power, women in leadership, and women celebrities. Nothing I don't like about it, honestly. And it's still in the flow to Jupiter. So yeah, Jupiter means king. And Venus is female, or a feminine energy, female kingship. So will there be some sort of anointing of a female in a power structure in the world that feels really intense, but beautiful? In the United States, it could even be one of the running mates for either whatever candidate is going to make it to the election. A lot of astrologers have predicted that perhaps we won't even have neither Biden nor Trump coming up in November for some reason. With Trump, he's under the duress of the Mars-Uranus conjunction. Please watch that video that came out on Tuesday. You're going to want to know about it. It's a last in a lifetime reset button for each of us in our Taurus sky that lasts for 2 years. But I want you to know that with Mars-Uranus conjunction on Donald Trump's midheaven, and then squaring his ascendant and his Mars, Trump is in harm's way, physically in harm's way, between roughly the 15th or so, 14th, 15th of the month of July. And I would extend that till the end of August because of other factors, the movement of Uranus to more exactitude to his ascendant degree. And so with Trump in physical harm's way for some reason, I don't know, bad things happen to do with guns when Mars and Uranus get together, or earthquakes as well, or climate disasters, etc. But weapons, guns, calamitous, bad vibes. Okay. And then why Biden? Why would Biden not make it? I'm not political. Well, we all saw a lot of evidence right now about why that might not happen, that he may not continue to be the person who's going to be on the ticket. But I predicted back in February, March, and April, same thing. I said he may step down because the sky is repeating a cycle from when Lyndon Baines Johnson stepped down in 1968. I've explained that in many videos. It's the last time in history we had Chiron conjunct an eclipse in Aries already. And that was literally the same year as we raced towards an election, that at the end of March, that president decided not to run for election again because of health reasons and because also of terrible ratings because of his handling of the Vietnam War. So it's a little bit of an echo from our past. Now, will it play out the same way? Maybe not, but it has all the possibility to repeat the same story. It's very rare in history that a president like Johnson was, going into the primaries and planning to continue on to be the incumbent that would be in the ticket in the fall. And after a primary, he didn't think his numbers were great. And then there was an eclipse, March 25th. And then March 30th, he says, I'm out. I'm stepping away for the good of the country. I don't know what podcast I was listening to today on recording this July 9th for my Patreon community, early access ad free. But somebody said the problem going on here is that there needs to be, like, if in that interview where Joe Biden said with Stephanopoulos that, he's going to do his goodest, and all it matters is he did his goodest. I mean, he tries his best, because Stephanopoulos says, what if you run and Trump wins? And Biden brought it home to, like, well, I'm going to go, like, play a baseball game, and I'm going to try to win the game as, say, like the pitcher, but I did my goodest. But that's not what is needed, according to this podcast I just listened to. And I wish I could remember who it was. I'd quote them. That person said, no, maybe it's really about, is your goodest to self-sacrifice, to step away for the sake of democracy. But you know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not on either side. And so, the myopia of Biden's answer was, it's all about him. He's not picturing into, like, wait a minute here. There's two sets of agendas running, a very far, far right agenda, which is Trump, and a very far, far left agenda, which is Biden. And I don't care which agenda wins, but if he cares about his agenda, it's not whether he does his goodest, it's whether he actually is able to triumph in popular appeal. In the polls, he's not winning over Donald Trump. And again, I don't care who wins. I don't think either is a candidate that should be on the ticket. I'm loving the comedy about it from people like Colbert and the Daily Show guy. So I have to laugh, because otherwise we'd all be crying. Even though I'm in Canada, I'm close enough to worry, right? I used to live in your country, guys, for 20 years. My kids were born there. So I'm kind of I'm bi between Canada and the United States, but I have never voted in Canada in my life, federal, municipal, or provincial, and I've never voted in the United States. Obviously, I'm not an American, and so that's how apolitical I really am. Lecture over. Moving forward, that's called mundane astrology. I'm telling you about the world events. We will get to your sign. There's timestamps below, and hit the title to get your chapters. Moving forward, we have Athena, the goddess of strategy, wisdom, and knowledge, and victory, especially in war, squaring Venus, the goddess of peace. And this is important. I'm going to show it to you now, because this is recapitulating or reactivating a hot spot in our sky. And that hot spot in our sky is where we had Venus in the heart of the sun, August the 13th, 2023. That is not going to happen again, Venus in the heart of the sun, until 2027. So it is an important time. It is an important event that she's now warming up the seat of where this happened last. So watch what happens here. If you're into astrology, like most of my viewers, and learning the astrology, just watch Venus trundling along, trundling along, trundling along, trundling along. And there's the Vestal flame. She wants to catch up to it. There's Jupiter over here. And I'll show you that one for now. And we'll get to that. So you can see Jupiter is just coming off of fixed star Aldebaran, the eye of the bull, in the constellation of the bull. And even though it's Gemini in sidereal, we're actually in, like, the real-time sky. Jupiter's in Taurus, in the real, like, astronomical sky. Extratropical zodiac is symbolic. And so he's just been in the eye of the bull at 10 degrees. There's Aldebaran. And now he's moved on. He's still pretty well close enough to be an orb, I think, of the bull, eye of the bull, which is Archangel Michael, which is a powerful fixed star in medieval astrology, to do with a war. It's a war star. I have to say that. Okay. Aldebaran is a star connected to war. It's a red star, but it's also about positive things in our own lives. It's quite a blessed star. And so I want to bring that up, because after being in the eye of the bull on the star Aldebaran, and still sitting with it, really, we see that Venus is going to talk to Jupiter on July the 21st. And I hope you guys know your planets, but anyway, I guess I could annotate. There's Jupiter with fixed star Aldebaran. Mars is just ingressed into the sign of Gemini. That video is coming out closer to July 21st. Get ready for that. I'll be talking about the Mars-Jupiter conjunction, and it'll be in the All Signs videos as well. And there's Venus with the Vestal flame getting closer and closer, right? And this is why I said news stories, right? Mercury is here for a while, and he's like Mr. Newsman. So big news stories about celebrities and about world leaders. And so Venus has a nice conversation on July the 21st, 22nd. It lasts 2 days, and they're in orb of each other. They're talking. And that is going to be the time where it's the jackpot for some of us in various parts of our life, where we need to have a lot of luck, a lot of expansion, a lot of truth, a lot of growth, a lot of goodness. It's just going to be a very feel-good transit. This way that she's doing it from Leo happened 12 years ago. I'll be covering that in more detail in my week ahead astrology, where I break down exactly the time frame that you want to look back to 12 years ago, but understand the rarity of it. And so this, because Jupiter's only here in the sign of Gemini once every 12 years. So this space between them is called a sextile, and it's a degree-based sextile, 60 degrees. So we'll look for that happy spot. That's probably what I'll touch into when I do the all signs section here. Note that then she keeps going forward, and she's going to move into, will it let me go forward? Yeah. She's going to move into the Vestal flame, crashing right into the Vestal flame on July the 24th. It actually starts the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Well, both Venus and the Vestal flame are talking to Jupiter. King, female, flame, sacred duty. Female sacred duty, kingship, power. News stories, still in the news, 29 degrees, turbulent, intense, anoretic news stories about females in power, females in sacred duties, things to do with the rise of power of women, or a celebrity breaking through the news cycle, but in a very positive story. That could be an Oprah Winfrey story, for goodness sakes. A lot of talk about Michelle Obama. Will she step into the fray maybe? And she's actually said no. People have asked her, and she's like, not doing it. I'm not a part of my desires in life. I don't have her chart handy. Let's see if that's true. But there's a possible kind of event going on here around the 22nd. The Republican National Convention is, I think, the 14th to the 16th of the month. And then the Democratic thing is in August in Chicago, the Democratic Convention. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I really don't know. Trump has to announce a running mate, I believe, by the convention start, which is on Monday. The brain come online. Someone give me a date. Around the 13th, 14th, right? During that Uranus-Mars conjunction duck, so yeah, that Monday, the 15th, that's the convention, the 15th, 16th, 17th. And by then he's announced a running mate. I'm anticipating a female, but I'm not sure. Many people say he's a misogynist. He's a little boy who didn't get the right relationship with his mom. So perhaps based on his natal chart, right? I didn't just make that up. And therefore, possibly, I think he may pick a female under advisement just to have the edge for the independents, or conservative women who would love to see a woman in power with Trump in power, right? So, and I had my bets on Tulsi Gabbard based on their synastry chart, and she's put her hand up and said, pick me. And she's conservative, and she was a soldier. And one of the things Trump keeps saying, no one's done more for the veterans than I have. And you take an ex-Afghan war soldier, female, conservative, God-fearing, all that stuff. You probably have a hit combination, and they do have a good synastry. So that's a thought, but I don't know if his advisors will push it, but that could be some stories about that, even though this Vestal flame Jupiter thing is not active until July the 23rd, 22nd. It could be polls coming out that people love this ticket, or could be some very positive things that this woman does, like gets up in front of a crowd and speaks or something like that. Who knows? We'll see. Now, moving forward, I want to note that this is the key. You see Athena up here. She's sitting at the top of the sky, and where she sits is at 20 degrees. Annotate 20 degrees of Scorpio. And she's strategy, wisdom, knowledge, and stealth. And she's very stealth in the Scorpio part of the chart, but she's very much about achieving victory as well through sort of like three-dimensional chess playing. So where you need to be strategic in your life. And we're going to see Venus coming into the 20th degree, and I'll try to make it go forward to show you. Venus is going to keep moving forward, and she'll hit that 20th degree. And here we have it. I know this is a mess now, but she's here. Let's give an annotation just for the people like to see it. Well, I lost my annotation, so let's not. It just disappeared. My annotation button. There it is. So here we have it. Venus and Athena. What's the relationship between Scorpio and Leo? Do you guys know? It's called a square. It's tension, but it's, think about a fiction narrative. You read the book because you have to solve a mystery. You're on an adventure, right? Like Indiana Jones, and there's conflict between the characters or between man and the environment, a hero in the environment, hero within himself, and hero with others. So honestly, without tension, which is a square, which it's the nature of Mars, a conflict, severing, deciding. Mars is about deciding. Deciding is about just choosing between A and B, and that's also about severing, and it's the nature of Mars. So we'll come into critical decision and action points. Two key Mars words: decisions and actions, foisted upon us in a very intense way. When we see a square in our natal chart, we're always dealing with that in our life or in the real-time sky. So where we see a major turning point in our lives individually may bring you back to events in your life last year, when on August the 13th, Venus star pointed in the heart of the sun. If you're somebody with your sun, moon, or rising anywhere near the 13th degree, within 3 degrees of either side, the 13th degree, the 20th degree of Leo from August 13th last year, if you have planets near 20 Leo, you're foisted into a critical decision turning point modus operandi around this time of July the 28th, which is the Feast of the Magdalene, which is really interesting, which is the same day last year that Venus retrograded, stationed retrograde. Is that correct? I think so. I better double check this. I'm having a moment. No, that's right. So Venus, yeah. So this is our July. No, forget it. Let me get this right. I apologize. July the 28th is when Venus hits the place she was August 13th last year. That's what I'm trying to say. It is the star point. Mm-hmm. But last year, when she got to the 28th degree of Leo, when she stationed retrograde, it was on July 22nd, and that was the Feast of the Magdalene. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of stuff in my head. No notes, guys. All right. How would this look for the world? Because I'll do your sign. It will look for the world maybe like whatever this a female who's hitting a high note of leadership, Jupiter, it comes to an intersection point in maybe in the news cycle, but maybe just within their own lives, where critical turning point decisions must be made strategically connected to the Scorpio part of reality. I don't have that person's chart because I don't know who it is, but there's definitely going to be a lot of female celebrities and female leaders coming into our news cycle. It's going to be intense. We'll see what happens, especially when we have the sun now also ingressed into Leo, doubling down on female leaders in the world and critical strategic turning points, decisions that must be made. Athena brings victory. So it can be a strategic way of finding victory, a new decision or direction taken by a female in order to ensure a victory. All right. It is the 12th house where Athena sits in the United States Sibly chart. All right, 12th house matters, also Joe Biden's chart, just so you know. Backroom deals and negotiations, secret hidden things. Of course, Scorpio represents the alphabet letter types of agencies as well. So this may be off the radar. Mercury's no longer hanging with Venus. Many of us may not necessarily see what's going on the world stage, but it will impact your life as well. Moving forward, let's continue. I'll de-annotate here. I'm going to clear, okay? All the mess I made, and we're going to do your sign, clear all drawings. I will note this, and I'll be covering this in my weekly astrology. As Venus goes forward, the next major activity is she begins to flow to Chiron, which is important because Chiron is the activator and major factor of the eclipse that we had on April the 8th at 19 degrees of Aries. And he's now retrograding back to that degree where he'll be sitting at the end of December. Because there's a chironic wound embedded in the April eclipse, which then unfolds until next April, we're all under the energetic umbrella of that eclipse collectively. And that's the same kind of eclipse energy that allowed or activated Lyndon Baines Johnson to step away from his incumbency, seeking re-election, and take himself off the ticket. And it's similar this time. There's a similar energy from that eclipse in April. So I'm not sure what'll happen, but Venus trines, okay, or flows, which is nice, to that woundedness from that eclipse. And this is war, right? Aries is a sign of war. Venus flows to the war wounds. It's a retrograde. It's an existing war. It's got to be a war that's been ongoing. Venus is an energy of peace and harmony flowing to a war wound that's been in play, not only from the April eclipse on April 8th, but the eclipse of October 21st in Libra. Both of those were connected to wars, all right, just by the axis of Aries, Libra. So hopefully some good war news. It's positive in terms of peace operating, in the world at last, finally. And then Venus will square Uranus for a surprise that may not delight us on August the 1st. Now, Venus brings good things in all times. I have to give you that. It's not as bad as all of that. But Uranus is the shock and awe, the unexpected, the thing we didn't see coming, the thing that surprises us. It also brings rebellion, freedom, and breakthrough, and those are good things. And we also see the square to Venus. Now, this is going to be felt around August the 1st, July the 31st, August the 1st, most exactly. The only downside to this, well, first of all, in your own life, it's just a surprise to do with your Taurus part of your chart and your Leo connected to love and money and beauty, harmony and peace, females, friendships, sisterhoods, and themes of Venus, which I will address in a weekly video when we get there. But in the world, this is going to activate Donald Trump's Mars ascendant very intensely and his midheaven. So it's going to be female leader, sacred, square his midheaven, his reputation and career. Also, Venus is sitting on his ascendant, right? So, I mean, it's like intense. She's there. I don't know. I mean, normally Venus on your ascendant makes you popular and appealing and people really like you, but she's just above the ascendant. And that has to do with things of isolation, including imprisonment. And although he's been cleared of a lot of the damage of some of these things that could have taken him down with the Supreme Court ruling and stuff, and the delay in his hush money trial till September 18th. So these feel like these can't be what it's about, but something could really be intense around his August 1st. Let's go August the 28th to, no, sorry, July the 28th to August the 3rd. Trump's under a lot of intensity. Okay, that's all I can say. I do not understand for sure what it is, but I do not like the fact that he's also got Uranus getting closer and closer to a square to his ascendant and his Mars, and therefore accidents, injuries, or coming to physical harm continues to be a theme that begins on the 15th of July. There's a lot of people who really don't like Donald Trump, who have, they call it Trump derangement syndrome. It's like putting the face of Voldemort over him, and there's a lot of people who may wish him harm. Again, I'm neutral on this. I know you guys don't believe me. I am so neutral. And then finally, I would say this. Venus brings good things even when we don't want them. It's a good old Rolling Stone song. You don't always get what you want, you get what you need. That's going to be true for both anything Jupiter or Venus are delivering up the line here. And so when Venus is going to offer something that's shocking or surprising in our own life or unexpected, in her square from Leo, you need it. It's the thing you need. It's a true medicine for you. So do not resist, it's a short thing. She squares Uranus once a year from Leo. You've lived through this since 2018 when she yearly squares Uranus from Leo. Okay, so it's not the end of the world. All right, let's get going and talk about your sign. We're going to start with Aries as we always do. And if you're in my live premiere and you have yet to hit my like button through this long intro, please give me a click of your finger. One push of your finger on a button and the algorithm smiles. And then when the algorithm smiles, everything goes well. These are freshwater pearls. I got this in Lisbon. It was so affordable. And I'm honoring Venus with both the rose and my freshwater pearls today. So if you want to honor Venus in any way, get it, especially as she gets ready to sextile Jupiter around the 21st and 22nd of July. You can really lean into her, a little Elmer green satin on an altar. Maybe she loves copper, incense, perfume, flowers, things of beauty, art, and create a little space to connect with this beautiful planet in Leo. She's very entitled in Leo. She's very diva. She's very queenly, right? And let that part of your own life be very active as well, especially for you, Leo, sun, moon, and rising. This is your glow up, especially Leo sun. It's about glow up your career, purpose. Moon, your home and body. And then for you, Leo ascendants with the big hair, glows up everything about you. You feel good about being you. You might like yourself quite a lot. All right, get a new haircut too, or facial rejuvenation, not facial, but like makeup, hair, clothes, wardrobe for all of you. Okay, we'll cover that in the all signs. Anything else I want to say? Early access ad free. Patreon is getting this 2 days ahead of you guys. Sometimes you get things weeks or 2 weeks before you. Depends on my travel schedule. But if you want to receive ad free content all time stamped, just like here. Things to do with, 3 Zoom meetings with me a month, depending on your tier, which I teach courses, take your questions, all of that, get to know me. It's a small community of 350 of us or so. And therefore, my meetings are usually no more than 20 people in a room, any of these 3 meetings a month. So you get a chance to, really ask me questions. So come check me out. It's only $5 a month. There is a free trial. You can try that as well. And I'm giving away free courses when you join. It's all on the back end of Patreon. Just check it out. All right. And there's a webinar coming up on the 14th. If you catch this video before the 14th of July, it's my Mars Uranus free webinar. It's in the down box. It's under the more button. It's in the description box. You can still sign up if you, by any chance, catch this video before the 14th. If you click the link after the 14th, I'll hook it up to a replay for you. Okay, so you can watch it as well. All right, so let's get going. We're starting with Aries, and then we're rolling through. I've got 30 minutes to get this done because I'm doing one of my live premieres where I'm chatting with people about the astrology that I pre-recorded. And so I got to get this. It's going to be a lickety-split delineation, I hope. And a gentle reminder, if you are interested in learning Astrology Sky Reader, 6-week live course, Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life will begin in the middle of September. Run for 6 weeks live with me, replays available, evergreen access to the content, get in the wait list. It's in my description box under the video, under the More tab, in order to get the early bird notice. And indeed, to get enrolled in the course, it usually fills out on the email. I never really have to worry about it being full. If you want to learn with me astrology enough to do your own chart, understand some basics of reading your own life, timing your own life, come aboard my class. Let's get going. Am I paused? Or am I recording? I am recording. That is really weird. It looks weird. Okay, let's go to Aries. All right, Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Okay, I have an Aries sun. I have an Aries moon. I relate. First of all, it is a time for you that's quite intense to remind you of eclipses expanding and growing you bigger. Energetically, it's been intense for you since last July. A lot of eclipses hitting the sun, moon, and rising Aries zone of you guys. And I'm bringing that up, of course, because we know Venus is going to help soothe some of that intensity of that chironic wound you've been having since last year, I would talk about since 2019, when Chiron entered your first house. So you're going to really kind of enjoy this month ahead. Venus's whole sign flow to Chiron. Anyway, you've been feeling kind of wounded or outside the box of your own reality. You don't like yourself as much as you do. You're doubting yourself, or even physically wounded. Venus can help to heal you during the month of July 11th to August the 4th. So keep that in mind. That's a backdrop story. Now there's a lot going on, and in my own weekly astrology, I'll be covering all the details of the stuff going on, the square to Uranus. So we're going to focus today on the happiest part of the sky, July the 21st and July the 22nd. And this is where Venus will come into that flowing sextile to Jupiter, who's still pretty close to the eye of the bull, Aldebaran, that beautiful and powerful star. And what I would say for you, you can see that this is happening. She's at 11 here. By the 22nd, she's really exact with Jupiter. So I want to go anywhere between the 19th to the 25th of July. You're feeling this sense of beautiful ease and flow in regards to matters to do with your 3rd house and your 5th house. Now, the whole sign, Gemini, 3rd house, please use the whole signs, is about travel. It's about siblings. It's about extended family, sometimes aunts, uncles, cousins, the kinship group, in the neighborhood, and therefore your neighbors and neighborhood. It's also about things to do with your online world. If you're an online social media type, writing projects, sometimes marketing and selling projects. 3rd house is brick and mortar stores and the places you go every day, or that if you're a shopkeeper that you own. And so there's a blessing here. And Jupiter in that 3rd house and skills-based learning. What do you want to learn that you can? I want to learn to knit. I want to learn to change a tire in my car. I want to learn to sell real estate. I want to learn to, fire up a kiln. A skills-based learning is here. And so Jupiter is awakening your 3rd house and has been activating it, this year. From May and through to June of next year. And this is a real blessing. And now as Jupiter once every 13 years moves through this part of your sky, Venus is in a very determined effort to add some goodness to what is already good. Now, Venus Go watch my Venus rising video, my Venus star point video. She's been very busy dying in the heart of the sun in your third house, resetting things there, a brand new fresh start over the course of the next 9 or 10 months from June 4th. She's risen in your fourth house, positive events, rising to new power, success, and light and goodness in your home, property, and real estate matters over the next 9 months minimum. But also, she's now saying, and I'm settling into the Leo zone, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a spice of romance, a spicy edge of sex and fun and pleasure and joy, creativity, amusement, the muse, to be in touch with your creative muse, entrepreneurial success, fertility, getting pregnant, you or your partner, things to do with, she's in the house of her joy. So pleasures are highlighted here in a joyful way. And this is true for all of July, really, July the 11th to August the 4th, as she moves through your fifth house. But at the same time, she gets a Jupiter boost on July the 21st, 22nd, where there's a poignant point of happiness. Something wants to show up here that makes you, like a little kid, jump for joy, because innocence and childlike wonder belong to the fifth house. Rejuvenation and vitality are here as well. And Leo, of course, being the sign of the sun, that makes all of the sense. So you're going to find that you will enjoy this time, but it can be extremely lucky, including financially lucky, because Venus is in the house of good fortune, and that includes winning money. And so it's possible that some of you may be winning money sometime in the third week of July, again, the 19th to the 25th. I don't know how. Don't, know your limit, play within it. Don't spend all your money in a gambling setting, but some of you may be able to just, win the local lottery ticket or something, or go to the casino and hit like the slots and have a jackpot. But it's deeper than just the financial reward. Venus isn't just like, give me money, give me pleasure, although she sure is. She's like, what do I desire? What do I truly want in life? What is my true, what do I imagine will bring me joy and happiness? And often we substitute joy for a pleasure, the glass of wine, the chocolate, the sex, the massage. And these are fine, but they're not joy. They're pleasure. They're tangible physical pleasure. She's in the house of her joy, in the house of joy. How can you get more in touch with authentic joy around the 22nd and 23rd? This is true as a question, July 11th to August 4th. Your children can have collateral benefits. If you have, especially a firstborn child, has a collateral benefit from this particular transit. Your firstborn may have a glow up, some good things happen, some lucky things happen to them, but quite even possibly your secondborn in your Aries chart, just for you guys, because second-born children are your seventh house ruled by Venus. So both kids are kind of blossoming out July 11th to August 4th and experiencing good, auspicious and lucky things as well. And to the point where, as we get towards, if you have children, young or old, doesn't matter. We get towards that a point where the Athenian trine, not the trine to Chiron is occurring later in the month. That could be a real healing for one of your children as well, or your relationship to them. Now, one of the things I would say about this energy of Venus, fifth house, Jupiter, third house, is travel. Leisure travel can be a fifth house thing, and then just general short distance travel. So opportunities for leisure or shorter distance trips and travel, very active for many of you. All through the month of July, I'll be going off. I'm an Aries sun and moon. I'll be going off to a cottage and enjoying some downtime during this, and then traveling back to Vancouver, etc. So cottage in Canada, Ontario, and then Vancouver, back to Vancouver. But even more so, if there is an opportunity to do short distance travel and it comes up around the 19th to the 23rd of the month of July, take it. I mean, it could even be agreeing to take that trip, planning that trip, buying the ticket, or the trip itself. It will bring you great blessings. Finally, if there's a skill, talent you have, a skill, something you're just naturally good at, born to be good at it. That's where Venus is sitting. And Jupiter is education. And there's a class, a course, a seminar, a workshop, something that is coming to your attention in the third week of July. Yes, July 19th to the 23rd. Take it. It's ideal. It's super blessed, and it will bring good things, including prosperity. And if you're in the online world, your creative projects, your entrepreneurial business is thriving in the online milieu as you lift up some good energy here. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, let's talk about Venus being your ruler. And so that's the number one. And it's been like 13 years since Venus has been able to do what she's doing for 12 years, which is to talk to Jupiter in this particular Leo way, sextile from Leo. Now, for you, this is going to feel like a very positive and very happy financial energy. And because Jupiter's in the house of savings and earnings, but he's also talking to Pluto in your 10th, and he's still touching the eye of the bull, you may hit the bullseye financially when it comes to a matter to do with career and reputation and work. And Venus is saying from the home base, your fourth house, you got this. Maybe it's also a beautiful opportunity financially connected to things in and about your home. Now, reminding you that July the 11th to August the 4th, Venus is in the fourth house. This brings joy, pleasure, fun, and play in your home. It can be very romantic home time. It can be decorating and redecorating, organizing, recondoing your home. So there's all of that going on, even hiring a painter or designer, etc. And therefore, you could be just very much in home beautification mode, July 11th to August 4th, or having a female friend visit you in your home. That's another option. Ultimately, when Venus is in the fourth house, you also like to be less visible. She's kind of like where you want to stand out and be the celebrity diva. And there's almost, and socialize. And you don't want to necessarily, unless it's in your home, have people over for a game of cards, maybe, have people come over for a movie night, but you're not really wanting to go out and about. So there's a quality here every year you get this, where July 11th to August 4th, you might pull inward more than you usually do. And now this vestal flame is there. You want to cook at home, eat at home, make home cooked meals. You may be feeling like you have to sit around the fireplace, enjoying your hearth at home. And Mercury is also communicating, socializing in and from the home. Jupiter brings luck. He's on the bullseye in your finances. So you're hitting a financial bullseye. There's no doubt about it. July 19th to the 23rd. What is the bullseye? Time will tell. It's going to be lovely, though. I like it a lot because it does have a Pluto flow, whole sign flow to your 10th house of career and reputation, indicating maybe getting a new job, getting hired, getting promoted, getting a raise, getting something really going through the work money axis. And finally, Venus does rule your sixth house, which is about your work as well. And you may have some work from home, a new job close to home, like just down the street, you can't believe it, or you can work from home a lot in a new job. That's opportunity as well for many of you to be more of a home-based employed person as well. And there is a possibility of making some very critical strategic turning point decisions, though, eventually later in the month when Athena will square Venus. And that's like with your significant business partner, right? But Athena also is lawyerly, and you might be signing legal documents and papers regarding rental homes or just your home in general later in the month. Ultimately, a few of you may have a golden opportunity to rent a new home as well, or rent out your home as a landlord during the July 11th to August 4th timeframe. Oh, and I want to try to remember to say, Venus star pointed in your second house, June the 4th. And this indicates that you'll have evidence by the end of March that you are now in more financial flourishment regarding your possessions and savings. And this looks like you could possess a car. Mars is here. Some of you may buy a car. But also, what I would say is that because she rose in your third house, learning, education, a local community, these things are going to matter. Neighbors and neighborhood, a lot more to you than you imagine in a positive way between now and next March. So keep that in the back of your mind. All righty, let's talk about Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. If you're a Gemini, and I do have a progressed sun, I relate. So sometimes I use myself and friends and family as examples. Bear with me, they're educational. Anecdotal educational examples. You guys are looking at Jupiter in your first house. What's not to like? I mean, sure, he's in Gemini where he has to pay attention to the details, but he's still Jupiter. It's almost like, Santa Claus has, one boot that's missing a boot, or, instead of two sacks on his back, he has one. But he's still a good guy. And Jupiter is in your first house. He's been here since May. I can't remember the date now, but mid-May. And he leaves here next June the 10th. And this is meaning, in essence, you're lucky. You're expanding, you're growing, your truth and your wise. You put some weight on, weight gain happens here, or get pregnant. Big expansion of your girth, but also your footprint in the world. And so you're larger than life, magnanimous, you're leaderful. People look up to you. You feel, I feel so lucky, oh, so lucky could be your theme song. And Jupiter here until next June continues to deliver that. Yeah, he's going to retrograde for a few months. Okay, fine. Right. But he does it every year. And that just means digging in for more luck. And so eventually, I say for most of you, and this is so far, Jupiter goes to the 21st degree before he retrogrades, which I believe is in October through to February. So the first 21st degrees of Gemini get a direct Jupiter transit until October. And you're going to feel, therefore, perhaps, I think it's October 9th, he stations retrograde at 21 degrees. You're going to feel, all of you, sun, moon, and rising, Geminis, 0 to 21 degrees, really, really happy and good and lucky and expanding and growing. And the rest of you will get the rest of the juice of it next year. Let me say one more thing. You get to embody Jupiter, right? You get to be the king, the queen. You get to be the top dog of your life. So don't waste this. You only get it back another 13 years. And Jupiter has been on the eye of the bull just before this. He was really close to the eye of the bull. He's moving very slowly, obviously, starting around July the 6th, 7th. But he's still only a couple degrees away by July the 21st, the fixed star Aldebaran. So this star is really lighting you, and because you're born with a star here, lighting you and Jupiter up together. And this is a very lucky time for you, very successful time. And we move ourselves to the idea that Venus, July the 11th to August 4th, is talking to that Jupiter in a whole sign transit. And she's saying, you want to be lucky, you want to get lucky. Well, I'm going to make you lucky in the third house. What is the third house? Social media, online world, blogs, writing projects. I just got approached by an agent for an astrology book that she would like to maybe inquiry. She's already rep 2 different astrologers, actually. I hope it works out into getting their books published. And I really like her energy. And so, and that happened as this Jupiter Aldebaran thing was going on. So with this energy for you, if it's your sun, okay, your sun in Gemini, it's your career, your ascendant is your character, your moon is your body, home, nest. Get the gist, right? I introed it in the beginning to understand the difference. You are lucky in writing. You are lucky in short distance travel. You are lucky in skills-based learning. You are lucky with younger siblings in general. You are lucky around, did I say short distance travel? You are lucky around your everyday world, your environment, the fishbowl in which you swim, and your neighbor and neighborhood, neighbors. That's all the meaning of the third house. So these areas are lucky. On the July 19th to the 24th, Venus comes over and looks back at Jupiter particularly intensely and gives you a bit of a jackpot moment here. I don't know what it could be. It could be you go down to the local supermarket or the convenience store and you get a ticket, and lottery ticket or something, and it wins. It could be that you're lucky in a writing project. You're lucky in an online moment in which you blow up. Right. But why would you blow up? Because Jupiter blows everything up. He expands you. And Venus is in the house of a lot of social media activity. So you could have a massive social media blow up at that point. Those are kinds of things that occur here, especially with Mercury, the newsmaker, in the mix, right? All the news is fit to print, but also the sign of the writer. And it's about all I have to say. Later, you're making some strategic decisions around neighborhoods, rentals, pets. That's later in the month. And we'll delineate that as we get into the all signs. Because, Venus died in the heart. When we get later in the month on my weekly astrology, every Monday, there's a weekly astrology all signs video. Because Venus star pointed in Gemini, if your sun is there, it's a resetting of your career. If your moon is there, resetting around home and body. And if it's your ascendant, everything in your life can reset. You are in a major life reset that lasts until April, March, end of March next year, when she's star pointing again. That 9.5 months is very much a beautiful reset for your whole life, your body, your health, everything. And then she rose in your second house, helping you get rid of foods you shouldn't eat, helping you increase your financial revenue and earnings and savings and possessions and all of that. So she just come off of that 2-part story. Go watch my Venus Rising video with Louise Eddington. It just came out. Go back, scroll and troll through and watch the video about Venus in the heart of the sun. I might add that to the description box so you guys can go back and the links will be there for these other videos connected to this longer story. Yeah, I need to put a pillow on this or something. I'm on a little stool. I'm visiting my sister. I'm not really in my recording studio back home. All right. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. What do we have here? We have Venus in the heart of the sun. No, we have Venus moving through Leo, July the 11th to August the 4th, in your second house of money, earnings, savings, resources, and possessions, and food you eat. You're going to enjoy more pleasurable food. You're going to have your desire. What do you desire? I desire some chocolate ice cream. I desire a glass of wine, whatever. Your desires are for foods that are pleasurable substances that you can ingest through your mouth. That's going to increase, but your face looks better. It's really good for facial rejuvenation. It's really good for cosmetic procedures. It's really good for dental procedures that beautify your face, new makeup, cosmetics routines, July the 11th to August the 4th. And your face may be more visible in some way. People may notice you more. I'm laughing because my sister's going to come on my YouTube video and her face will be visible because she'll be doing a little mini episode with me. The other thing is that you definitely have something going on here when I look at this to really start looking at your money, earnings, savings in a way that heals a wound around your career and reputation. You're coming into some sort of energetic shift this journey at July 11th to August 4th. With the sextile, however, and by the way, your finances can be a bit more prosperous, but you can also desire something to possess, right? So she can love up your bank account here, but she may also on your earnings, but she might say, oh, I really desire that possession. And Mercury is marketing and selling. So you could buy a new possession that you've always wanted during her July 11th to August 4th transit. Mercury's a mailman. So something that you desired is delivered to your doorstep because you ordered it on Amazon during July 11th to August 4th. Jupiter is in a deeply spiritual house, first of all. And so this sextile that's happening for the first time in 13 years on, July 22nd. So you want to give it the 19th to the 25th, as a range of energy. It's possible that what you're seeing is some kind of spiritual upliftment to do with your Venus desires, to do with things that you are wanting to possess. That sounds crazy, but you always wanted to buy that giant Buddha statue you saw, at the eBay or something to decorate your home or something. And now you're going to do it because she rules a home. There's that. But also Jupiter is earnings and money. And I mean, Jupiter's in your 12th house of far off foreign trade and earnings and money from foreign shores and foreign people. And honestly, I've often seen this, like I'm a digital PayPal Stripe girl, make money with borderless income. And if you have any way you do that, Cancer, then this is going to blow up your finances in a positive way. That way, I have the bull Jupiter, 12th house, foreign land resources and financial gain. Kind of think if you have to quit an addiction, Jupiter will teach you how, Mars will cut it out, and Venus will show you the pleasures that are non-addictive, giving your July 11th to August 4th a good reset button for quitting self-sabotaging and addictive substance abuse by things that you put in your mouth. Venus is in the house of your mouth. And your speech can be more eloquent. You might be more inclined to persuasive, charismatic speech during her transit. And if you need to use charismatic speech for anything to persuade, convince, or charm people, this is a time, July 11th, to be very vocal and let that speech be very charming indeed. You might have some critical turning point strategic decisions you must face later in the month of July in a square off with a romantic sexual partner or one of your children. So let's see how that goes. I'll be doing that in the weekly for that event, and that's down the pipeline. I'm trying to remember the date, on the 28th of July. Critical turning points there as well. All right, Leo, when Venus comes through your sign every year, and this is July the 11th to August the 4th, you just really are in a glow up. I mean, you might look better physically. Your hair might be the best hair you've had in ages. You're, feeling good about yourself. Other people like you. You're Mr. Miss Congeniality. You're popular. You're sociable. You're happy with yourself. You like yourself more. And so it's often a time where we use that sort of charm offensive. And this is your time of year, July 11th this year to August the 4th. And as Venus comes through the part of the sky that is you, right? It's often something like, I'm going to get a new wardrobe. I'm going to get a new look. I'm going to do a makeover, because it's the ascendant represents your physical appearance, but also so does the moon, your body. And then of course the sun would be a glow up and a like excitement, maybe even a little bit of celebrity or micro celebrity when it's your Leo sun and Venus is co-joining it. A lot will depend on the house in which that is. Well, it's your Leo house, it's your identity. Sun in Leo, right? You guys are natural leaders, and then Venus adds her spice to it, and suddenly you are like on the top of the ticket. Because you're popular now. You're popular. Nobody has a Tulsi Gabbard, nobody has a time for her, but she has her moon in Leo, which can, and the moon can represent where, if you're a politician, where you're popular with the people or not. So Biden's moon is being squared by transiting Pluto and opposed by his solar arc Pluto. And there was an eclipse on his moon, and his popularity has plummeted. So when you're a politician, your moon is your popularity. So if Tulsi Gabbard's moon is in the sign of Leo and then Venus is coming over her moon, it can be an increase of her popularity, should she even be relevant to anything to do with this election. Jupiter is in your 11th house for the first time in 12 years. And he flows with Venus in this glorious sextile on the 22nd, Feast of the Magdalene, 22nd of August. 3 days before and 3 days after, you feel it. And it's Jupiter in the house of his joy, in the house of windfalls, karmic rewards, hopes, dreams, and wishes, friends who are benefactors, who help you, who are allies for you, greater gains in your career, whatever that gain may be. Celebrity, a red carpet moment, greater financial gain in your career. The gain increases. No matter which way you slice it, Leos, you're getting more financially successful as Jupiter transits here through till next June in your career matters. And with Mars Uranus up there recently, big shocking turnarounds and surprise stories about your career have already transpired by July 15th. I would say that Jupiter in the house of his joy on the bullseye of Aldebaran, coming off of that bullseye, is you're hitting the mark in some kind of long cherished held dream or goal that's quite personal to you, or in some kind of jackpot moment, some kind of financial windfall feeling. The 11th house are people who wish to help you in life. So you hit the jackpot because an influencer is going to put you on the podcast, or you hit the jackpot because a friend offers you some amazing financial or job opportunity, that kind of thing. But also fairy godfather is what he is up here to me. Some of your wishes and cherished dreams are coming true for you around July the 22nd. Your elder sibling can be the one who gives you this dreams come true, because the sibling one older than you belongs to the 11th house. The sibling 2 older than you belongs to the 9th house. The sibling 3 older than you belongs to the 7th house. I taught a whole course on how finding the people in your chart. I haven't put it up for resale yet, but I will be doing that shortly. To me, Jupiter in his joy on Aldebaran, flowing to Venus in you, it's a win-win. I don't see any downside, can't see where you won't like this, but you may have some critical turning point, strategic decisions and actions you need to take around the 28th of July, when, of course, Venus will square Athena in your 4th house. We'll dive into that in a lot more detail with minor asteroids and stuff as we get closer to that 28th of July week ahead astrology. But Venus is still a benefic, and there may be good reasons to make strategic, legally, lawyerly decisions around land, home, and property for many of you as you approach this story. And you'll notice I'm not covering the Venus opposite Pluto because I covered it in my week ahead astrology. I should have told you that. Go watch the week ahead astrology for Monday's video just behind us. Hey, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. A lot of you in my life, best friend, daughter, many Virgos all of my life. That's because my vertex and anti-vertex axis goes through the signs of Leo and Pisces, and life-changing relationships are always available to me with Piscean and Virgoian folk. So you can check that thing out. Where's your vertex, anti-vertex in your chart? Because the signage of that will bring a lot of those folk into your life. So Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. First of all, this is a really good transit of Venus, July 11th to August 4th, to radically shift an addiction, bad habit pattern, because the 12th house access and improve your health at Pluto, really intense energy, like the death of an addiction, the death of a self-undoing, the death of self-sabotage that impede your health, impede your reality, and in a very deep and profound life-changing way. For some of you, this can be what goes on July 11th to August 4th, because also we see the Vestal flame, who's very pure here. It's kind of like, I'm going to be a priestess, I'm going to be a monk, I'm going to be a nun, do my Vespers. He brings this kind of archetypal, well, also hearth fire, but archetypal energy of sort of what's the word? I don't want abstinence, renunciate. What do you want to be a renunciate from? And what pleasures are you renouncing in order for you to be what? True, successful, expansive, wise, and lucky in your career. At some point, every addiction will get in the way of our highest purpose, our truest calling. And so just keep that in mind. Jupiter in your 10th house, yes, this May through to next June, luck, expansion, growth, opportunity on steroids, fairy godfather in work and career, raises, promotions, perfect job, elevated, bosses love you, all good stuff for you. Don't complain. You get it once every 13 years. But it was not been 13 years. It was 13 years ago that Venus and Leo could sextile backwards to Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. And therefore, there is something very precious here happening for you. And that sextile on July the 22nd, 3 days before and after. Backroom deals and negotiations, secret deals, that kind of thing can be 12th house that favor you in the professional front going on. Sometimes Venus here can be somebody behind the scenes working on your behalf, pulling some levers to bring you greater career gains and success. Jupiter on Aldebaran, the bullseye, ever since about July the 7th or 6th or 5th. And so whatever you're doing in career and reputation has been pretty blessed and lucky since then. My daughter had a job interview. Yeeks, I'm crossing my fingers she gets a call back this week and that she gets the job. She's really hopeful. So what is your dream, hope, and wish, fairy godfather energy for your career success? Venus is trying her best to bring some of it to you. If at all you're into like spiritual truth and wisdom, female spiritual guides, mentors, teachers, and coaches can be very good for you as Venus transits the 12th house. And talking to Mars Uranus in the 9th house of advisors, maybe a radical outside the box kind of different energy regarding advisors and stuff like that. Spiritual advisors, mentors, life coaches, business coaches, addiction coaches, all that is very favored for you between August 11th and July 11th and August 4th, especially as we move into July 22nd. I would say I also really want to just generally point out that there's some critical turning point decisions that will be made regarding your learning environments, your travel plans, or your local neighborhood. You want to be strategic wise, and you're trying to make some critical decisions here. And certainly with Athena in a whole sign square to Pluto in your house of work, there may be some changes regarding commuting, traveling, home, and work opportunities, then strategic decisions about where you live, what neighborhood you need to be in, or your commuting strategy, something like that, between, the 26th to the 30th of July. We'll do more in-depth in the All Signs portion in the weekly astrology every Monday. That's why subscribing, you get the week ahead in much more vivid technicolor detail than an overview like this. Just reminding you that if you haven't hit the like button or subscribed yet, or even shared this video or any of the good things you can do, especially like button, especially in the live premiere, why not hit the button? All right. Thank you. I'm only halfway. Shoot. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. I notice I'm talking slower lately. Have you guys noticed that I talk slower than I used to? That's because I had a spiritual awakening when I had COVID. And I'm thinking, I always time these videos to be like, oh, no, it'll take me 70 minutes. And it takes me longer lately. Fuck me. Excuse me. Okay, I'm late for my own premiere. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let me just pause. Let me be right back. I need a kombucha break. All right, let's roll. Let's roll with the Libra folk and continue this story. All right, Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Venus is the lord of you, just as it is for Taurus rising and sun and moon people, and the planetary body that rules your sign. And she's moving into a beautiful a house for you. The 11th house is very positive from July 11th to August 4th, the house of good spirit. Often it's like fairy godmothers live here. It's your wishes and dreams, and they can come true. It's your goals and plans for your life. It's how you interact with an elder sibling, and it's the nature of your career gains from your money and reputation gains from the 10th house. Like the success of the 10th is shown in the rewards of the 11th. And in that sense, this is a very financially positive transit because she is a goddess that involves financial well-being and prosperity, money, and she's in a financial house. And so looking at that in essence, it looks like a money glow up as well between July the 11th and August the 4th, but also you may be more sociable, especially with Mercury here through to about the 28th of July. And that makes it for a very fun time socializing, groups of belonging, events, and such matters. Good for negotiating raises, promotions, and all of that during this time, July 11th through to about the 28th. Then the other element here is that is it the 28th with Mercury? Well, roughly there. But anyway, and what I was trying to emphasize in the beginning of the video, and please go back and watch the Venus in the heart of the sun, her star point video. I'll put them in the description box, which happened on June the 4th, and then her rising, which happened around July the 10th. Those two videos are already out. Those are going to give you more depth because Venus is not only coming off of her rising at the end of Cancer and her star point here in Gemini, but she's also still freshly visible, right? She's very new, fresh, young version of herself. Rising in the 11th, indicating a possibility of a much greater glow in your finances from your career and your career itself over the next 9 months. Now, Venus here is also quite capable of bringing you a cherished ideal, goal, or dream, something you've always desired in career, reputation, areas of your life, like the dream come true. And she's flowing to lucky Jupiter in a way she hasn't done for 13 years. And that flow to Jupiter is in your 9th house of God. Jupiter up here in the eye of the bull, Aldebaran. He's like golden ticket guy. But what for? He flows to your Libra identity, but he's also sextiling Venus. It's kind of like, especially any of you with a Libra sun, moon, and rising between about 9 and 15 degrees of Libra. Really beautiful time for you. You are lucky and blessed. But what is that 9th house suggesting? Well, you may have some great financial gains through foreign shores, foreign people, and foreign entities, a financial win in a legal matter involving courts, a travel opportunity involving a friend that's golden to a far off land. You may find out that your book publishing contract is going to go through. The agent is successfully sold your book to somebody. Your podcast is taking off because you got celebrity. When Venus is in the 11th, is also a fame marker, and Jupiter is in the house of publications and like podcast stuff. And so podcast publications, that kind of serialized content is literally, or published content is literally taking off for you. And so it can be a really nice glow up there as well, if that's a part of your world, especially the book publishing stories. All right. Now, that said, all that glow up aside, you do want to note that you have a later in the narrative, around the 28th of July, Venus square to Athena. And there's a critical turning point around your finances, your money, your possessions at that time. You have to be strategic. You have to be intelligently smart. You have to plan in a three-dimensional chess player way, something that can bring you great success financially because of Venus and this great gains from your career house. But strategy is essential. And it's certainly enduring strategy with Athena talking to Saturn. And this has to do with work strategy. Now, we'll be doing this in a week ahead video in more depth. Finally, Jupiter is in a lucky house already. It is a luck house. And it's definitely on the eye of the bull. Very lucky. Writing projects are favored. International companies are favored. Prosperity is favored. and great gains from international revenue and sources. I will just kind of tiptoe into a possibility. Some of you may have a job contract, job offer abroad or with an international foreign entity coming through this lovely energy of July the 11th to the 4th of August. And I don't know what else I can say. Do you have a spiritual belief, a pastor, a preacher, a coach, a mentor? The advisors are up here. Jupiter blesses that part of your chart. Flowing to Venus, it can be you're going to join a group, a spiritual community. If you never thought of doing that, July 11th to August 4th, you may find your new spiritual community, whatever that looks like. And if you do, it'll be very auspicious. And that can represent a guru or a teacher coming your way, okay? And community with that new spiritual path. July 11th to August the 4th. And I say spiritual community, I want to be clear. I don't mean like you have to join an ashram or you don't have to, join a church. It's community in which there's a philosophical agreement, an idealistic agreement, like a shared spiritual idealism or philosophy or knowledge or understanding. And I think some of you are going to join a community of some sort. And it's going to be like there's your group and there's your community, sacred flame, and there's the spiritual component. It hits the mark. It's the bullseye for some of you, Libra sun, moon, and rising, right? Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. So Scorpio is the kind of person who is actually always looking beneath the surface, investigating, peering under the rug, all of that. Just keep that in mind. And I do want to note, you've got a strategic mind right now. Athena is giving you the ability to be not only investigative, but strategic. And that will be true during this July 11th to August 4th relative to Venus. And I'm jumping right there for you to say a critical turning point, decisions must be made, actions must be taken that's connected to your career and reputation and what you're doing in the workspace. And Athena says, you're being challenged on the 28th of July to make some strategic decisions regarding your home, your career, and what you need to do about it. Now, moving forward to the earlier story, July 11th to August the 4th, Venus is going to give you a reputation and career space, public eyeballs on you, glow up. So my son is having a wedding celebration during that time. So everyone's all eyes on him, 10,000 house of weddings. But it's also things to do with your work. And this is good for promotions and raises, and the bosses like you, and you're having more fun in the workspace. And when you're in the public eye or when you're visible, you're feeling good about it. You're feeling very queenly. You're the royal up there. And you also have Mercury, and it gives you a great time for being very sociable in the eye of the public, being very visible. This is an ideal time for you guys to really go for job success, career success. And it wouldn't hurt if you're looking for work as a Scorpio rising, especially to apply for a job under this positive element. And you could definitely win the day and get the interview, if not the job. As this is also indicating high Venus visibility, right? Women can be very important in your visible career and reputation status, or females during July 11th to August the 4th. If you're in a career path where you put stuff out into the social media world, it just makes you much more visible and maybe much more lucky and successful in those endeavors. The sextile to Jupiter last happened in this way 12 years ago. Jupiter is in your 8th house. Your 8th house is chunky money. Aldebaran is the bullseye. I already told a lot of you Scorpios that unexpected sources of chunks of money are coming your way. Can be inheritances, money from mom and dad, can be, bank loan, mortgages, credit debts, whatever, but coming to you positively, like you're receiving chunks of money that you didn't earn in your day job. That's true until next June for a lot of you. It's general bell curve astrology, but you're profiting here. Money that you and your spouse can get. And I don't want to keep inheritances out of the mix. Sometimes that's how it happens already. And so there's a financial glow up in the story here. Saying that, Venus is tapping into that energy of Jupiter through the sign of Gemini on the bullseye of Aldebaran. And it looks like a lot to do with celebration. So say you get a chunk of money and you want to celebrate during that time. You could also get some kind of financial fortunes through your work. I don't know what that looks like. You try to think of sign-on bonus, performance review, bonuses, bonus chunks of money coming to you, sign-on, sign-off bonuses, things like that. Or just the female boss loves you up and gives you, as I said, performance review bonuses. Or if you make commissions or something like that, and money comes in a kind of a unexpected chunk. So keep that in mind. I don't think you're definitely going to get all of the goodness of Jupiter yet. He's not finished until June, bringing you chunks of money. But this is a nice touch. And this is very active on July the 22nd. You want to go 3 days before and 3 days after. And your partner in love and business, their money stories can also be increasing with Jupiter here, and maybe Venus as well, just saying we're sharing our luck and our financial good success or our prosperity success with the world. Okay. Announcing that we're all happy because we got a chunk of money. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. For you, you're really looking at this. First of all, I'll start with Jupiter because he's a big part of what we're going to talk about. When Jupiter moves as a Jupiter ruled being through your 7th house, difficult long-term love relationships can come to blessed endings. Existing ones can expand and grow. Your partner can be more lucky. You can bring wealthy and powerful and rich people your way, right? And that's true till next June in one-on-one context. Now, what I want to note is that Venus on July 11th to August the 4th is moving through the part of the sky that is going to flow through the 9th house to you as a fire sign. Direct flow, direct flow, direct flow. And in that energy, you feel good when Venus flows at you because she's applying toward you in a superior trine, and you feel as if some kind of joyful luck is descending on you. Lakshmi is the goddess of the 9th house in Indian astrology. It's a luck and prosperity and bounty and abundance energy when Venus moves through this house of that goddess. You are literally going to feel very positive from July the 11th to August the 4th. July the 11th to August the 4th is good for long distance travel, book publishing, podcasts. It's really good for spiritual community, going to church. It's really good for activating good success and lucky outcomes in legal and court matters. And her talking to Jupiter in your 7th house is kind of acting as a legal contracts and agreements broker for good legal contracts and agreements, vows. Some of you might get a marriage proposal out of this one. If you're single, however, this is a nice time to meet somebody new. Jupiter direct sextiling Venus in the 9th, ideally somebody who's got spiritual philosophy and values similar to yours, or you may meet them through long distance international travel or educational, especially higher educational settings. Okay, so keep that in mind. There's no downside here. Really like it. You're looking at critical turning point decisions. That's for sure. And I don't think that you're going to find this at all a challenge, given how powerfully Venus is placed, but she will square Athena in your 12th house. And you may have to come to terms with some critical turning point decisions regarding health matters, regarding hospitals, regarding far off foreign lands, and regarding, these are 12th house stories, and regarding situations that are your own self-undoing. And that critical turning point is July the 28th. And we'll cover that in more detail. Now, just a quick pause to say, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Why not? You want to do it. I'm coming right back. All right, we have 3 more signs and then we're done, shall we? I think we shall. I'm going to share the screen. We're going to go into the story, and here we have it. First of all, the next sign, and don't forget, like, subscribe, please, and hit the notification bell. And the sign we're focused on now is, I love Capricorns, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. I love their mirthfulness. So Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising, their droll humor. What I want to say about this is that Venus is moving in a very subtle place, even though it is chunky money, your 8th house from July 11th to August 4th. When it comes to direct energetics hitting you personally, it's very subtle. That said, when she's here, you're lucky in stock investments, tax rebates, taxes, insurance, bank loans, mortgages, and you may indeed have some financial a positivity in regarding your longer range investments and your retirement monies, and your partner can be very financially happy and successful. Like if you have a long-term committed spouse or love partner, their luck, their money, because you share the resources with them, is improving between July 11th and August the 4th. And you may also find that with Venus here, any kind of sexual energy, romantic energy can be hidden from view. July 11th to August 4th also involves secrets and betrayals. Be careful. I mean, Venus is, a goddess of love and sexuality and a house of secrets and hidden things. It may not be all that bad. Okay, she isn't a whole side square to Uranus. So just you guys be careful. July 11th, August 4th, it's not a good idea to keep sexual secrets or all of that you might have with Mercury there. Reveals of sexual hidden secrets becoming available to your conscious awareness, July 11th to August the 4th. As she travels through this part of your sky, you may be financially benefiting from a female in your family of origin or in your life in general. Either one is true. She travels through this part of your sky after having died in the heart of the sun in your sixth house back in June, indicating blessings in work and career and health and pets and rental opportunities till end of next March. Keep that in mind. She rose in your seventh house, indicating powerful rising for your business partnerships, love partnerships, and significant others. Those are the backdrop stories. I'll pin those other videos to the description box, but just go scroll my channel playlist. You should be listening for those. But when she's flowing to Jupiter in your sixth house of work, where she's star pointed, she has not talked to Jupiter this way since 12 years ago. And in my longer week of ahead video for this, I'm going to talk about how on July 22nd, when she flows to Jupiter, 3 days before and after, she redoes something in a very similar way to bring you financial benefits through work and career matters. Workspace matters, career and reputation matters. She owns your 10th house as well. So I can only say that golden career and money opportunities begin to emerge for some of you Capricorns, right? And Jupiter brings the luck. Jupiter is in your sixth house of pets, rentals, tenancies, and career and work matters through till next June. And Venus's heliacal rise here blesses you through till next end of March. So this is a time where that part of your sky that has to do with work and finances is positive. However, also pets and rental opportunities as well. Some of you with that chironic wound and you don't know where your true home is may find that a opportunity for your true home is coming, whether you buy it or rent it, because Venus up there can offer in the short term through to August 4th, purchase opportunities for homes, including getting a mortgage or selling a house. Now, I would also think that with Jupiter in your sixth house, your health is improving. And that usually is a blessing towards health matters. And if you've ever had any kind of health challenge, he's on the eye of the bull. When Mars is here and are all flowing to Venus around July 21st, 22nd, 23rd, a lot of improvement in your health occurs by what you eliminate in your life, not what you add, right? Eliminate the things that deter you from better health rather than add things that you don't need. And with Venus in the eighth house, often it's pleasures, right, that we need to eliminate, that we hide from the world. Does anybody know you smoke secretly when you're alone? Does anyone know that you are addicted to sex? Does anyone know that you drink too much alcohol? These kinds of things, and the elimination of them between July 11th and August 4th, with an accent on July 22nd, 3 days before and 3 days after. And then you have that square to Athena that brings a little critical turning point decision and action around the 28th of July. We'll dive into that in the All Signs week ahead, but turning points regarding larger groups of belonging, friendship circles, career gains, and relationships to elder siblings, especially if secrets are revealed. And that will be at the end of July. All right, Aquarians, I am one of you. And hang on a sec. All right, sorry about that. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm multitasking. Pluto, we have Pluto in our first house. Can we never ignore it when we do these all signs? Wow, how are you guys feeling? I just had like a total revolutionary spiritual awakening under the charcoal brain of 3 days of 104 fever with COVID. So we have Venus on July 11th to August the 4th, moving through our seventh house. This is about our significant love relationships. This is about our business partnerships. This is a woman business partnership energy. I got approached by an agent. Do I want to sign a contract maybe to publish a astrology book, shop it around, whatever, spec or proposal. Maybe that'll pan out. I don't know. But Venus here, July the 11th to August 4th, blesses those opportunities. She's good for our marketplace audience and even the one-on-one work we do. So that expands, it gets a glow up. But women who are others are powerfully present and powerfully good for us at this time. And negotiation contracts and deals go super swell, July 11th to August the 4th. Your significant other may benefit. You have a long-term love partner or business partner. Venus is going through your seventh house. They are getting a glow up. They are getting lucky. They are having peripheral benefits for you. Nothing better than that. Venus transit for their own luck to take a turn for the better. And I often find that when Jupiter or Venus move through the seventh house, it's not about us. It's about our significant other getting benefits in their life. One thing I'd say is that Venus here is connected to a strong, powerful energy as she flows to Jupiter in a way we haven't seen her do since 2012, 13. Well, no, sorry. We're in 2024, 12 years ago. 2022, 23. And so, 2012, 13. And so this is an energy that's relatively rare and we can benefit so greatly from it. By understanding how beautiful it is, how wonderful it can be for each of us. I think that this energy for you guys, for me as well, it looks like what Jupiter is asking for is financial fortune. The house of good fortune involves the house of speculation. So some of us can have a lucky financial break, maybe a win of money, or just feeling like a financial fortune is possible in and through legal contracts, agreements, or significant relationships with others. I would tell you that with Jupiter here, no matter what you're giving birth, you're pregnant with possibility. You've got lots of children coming through you. It's certainly a fertility transit can bring babies and pregnancy for people who are Aquarius rising, especially. But also it's more like, what are you pregnant with joyful possibility around a book, a painting, a creative project, some kind of goodness wants to happen. If you're single, this is like you're blessed with opportunities to be creative and to reach a significant audience or to have somebody want to use your creativity and help you with it. Entrepreneurial businesses can thrive as you reach out to a marketplace July 11th to August 4th. But the sextile to Jupiter is July the 22nd. So 3 days before and after is super lucky. Your children are lucky, collateral benefits for them. They get the luck and the blessings of a Venus sextile Jupiter energy. If I was on this planet and I was single looking for love, I certainly don't mind this because Venus is going to be a handsome or pretty other significant other that I feel really drawn to. And Jupiter says in the house of romance and sexuality, it's all good to go. 2 thumbs up, good housekeeping, seal of approval. Finally, Mars just entered into Gemini and in a whole sign sextile to Venus in the 7th house. It can sexify your life. Therefore, between July the 11th and August 4th, your romantic quotient, your romance is flourishing, etc. If you are in an existing relationship, great. If you're not, time for a new one. And there is a square, and don't forget, Venus star pointed June 4th in your 5th house, rose in your 6th house. Go watch the 2 videos already out on that topic. I'll pin it to the description box. But long story short, short story long, there's nothing like a star point in the house of joy, fun, and romance, creativity, entrepreneurial business, and winning money. So you have that energy playing out now that Venus is visible. Some of those things can be true through to the end of March when she star points again. A little critical turning point, need to be strategic about career matters and significant relationship matters. Career matters and reputation matters and legal matters. Career matters, reputation matters, and contractual legal agreements. Strategic turning points coming up in the 3rd week of the month, or the 28th actually. And we'll be talking about that 28th of July in the week ahead video. And finally, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. We love you guys. Your exaltation lord is Venus. And what I think about Venus most of all in this case is that she is going to give you between July the 11th and August the 4th health improvements, possibly good news around job and work matters, positivity around rental property opportunities, whether you're tenant or landlord, and pets, good opportunities for a devotional pet and a commercial chance to buy one or be given one, who knows. I want to tell you that you definitely want to look at the Venus sextile with an understanding that it's where she's star pointed. New home, new beginnings, fresh starts available for blessed, lucky opportunity in home. And that's true through to next June with Jupiter in your fourth house. And it also legacy wealth from home and the ability to pay off debts. So someone in your childhood or someone you know, that kind of thing. I feel like what you're going to get in this situation is a golden opportunity for health improvements close to and connected to your home. That said, some of you may get a beautiful new pet under this July 11th to August 4th energy, particularly around July the 22nd when Venus and Jupiter flow, luck upon luck, good upon good, not seen since 12 years ago in this way. The perfect pet, the perfect rental opportunity, the perfect money from a family of origin member, likely female, coming at you to help you pay off your debts. Energetically, your health improves. You're tending the sacred flame of your health. Mercury is giving you information you need to better your health, especially cardiovascular, especially around the heart. That's the meaning of the Leo sign in your house of sickness. You would notice that you have Jupiter in a protective mode around matters to do with in and from the home, sort of blessing the in and from the home environment as well. And Venus saying, and let's also make sure that things that we do in the home provide healthy outcomes for us. And we're blessed with health and home matters, therefore, during this transit. Venus here is in a house of karmic debt. Karmic relationships are highlighted, not in a negative way, just that people you know with whom you have a karmic connection are going to be in the story July 11th to August the 4th. Some of you know what I mean by karmic. Some of them are like, needs to like, oh my God, I must have a karmic debt. I've got to finish up this debt. And last but not least, what about Athena? You got a critical turning point with Athena. Decisions about foreign shores, legal matters, courts, things to do with long distance travel, things to do with decisions and critical strategies around legal matters and contractual agreements. Because the reason I say that is because Juno contracts in the seventh house. A lot of you have a time right now where you're looking squarely at, and you and your partner, at marriage, relationship stuff and trying to figure out if it's going to work or not. Just be aware of that. Venus is saying, well, she's in Leo. This is like a runway to the seventh. Let's really be strategic about matters that are legal, that revolve around judges and courts, and situations that might have to do with shared resources, as well as that money you share with your partner may require legal, litigative, structural stories to be in place around the 28th of July. Literally, what do you guys agree on? Because Juno's headed for your house of shared resources, and she's not quite there yet. But when she gets there, and we'll do a video on that, a lot about that shared money with a spouse for you Pisceans is going to be taking up front and center in your eyeballs, and you're going to be focused on that a lot. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And this is the end of this video. Big hugs to all of you. Mwah. Ciao, ciao.